everybody, my name is Jessica Holyfield. I'm a professional dancer, professional dance choreographer, and dance educator based out of the southeast of the United States, and we are taking a look at all of the mega crews from Street Man Fighter. I know so many people have been waiting for this particular portion of the season for me to take a look at. I cannot wait to take a look at these as well. I have them put in the order of their scoring, so regardless of the order in which you choose to watch these, I know I did start with YGX and I finished with Just Jerk, and I'm going to be approaching my feedback accordingly based on the lineup. On top of that, I also did my best to try to figure out what the criteria was so I can tailor my feedback towards that. But once again, know that my job scope and my perspective is not based on the competition reality TV side of dance shows. It is more on the competition side, where there is rules and regulations and very specific things you have to follow. So please take some of my analysis or feedback with that level of grace, or if I do approach or say something that may feel out of pocket, that it could just be because I'm looking at it from a lens that I'm normally used to looking at mega crews. So I really hope that you guys enjoy these, and I hope they're beneficial, and we're gonna go ahead and get into them. B2B.
Hip-hop originator, 뱅크투브라더스.
뱅크투브라더스.
Don't you know I'm loco?
Try to snatch my cups. These
I really like their pocket in this. It's really fun.
Some of them try to run, but they can't run like this. Some of them try to run, but they can't run like this. Some of them try to run, but they can't run like this. Some of them try to run, but they can't.
Yeah. They're not exploring multiple pockets in the tracks. I'd say this is the second instance where we do get to see a pocket exploration. Someone come around. Hey, love this. You can't rock like this. Hey. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that was nice. Yes. Love that. Hey.
ready set go 하면 내 결대 뭐든 당당하지 나의 걸음 담은 chain 내게 걸어 okay word 지금 빨리 내 이름 땅에다 적어 지금 빨리 내 이름 내 team 내 가족 왜 bro 도전하기 전 나가를 즐겨봐 아직 멀은 너의 거리 don't you bring me my phone okay word 지는 전화드려 우리 시선 멀게 일어서 다시 껴 잡았어 ready to push the trigger.
It's nice. It's not very clean in that little section in particular. That was interesting. Choice of the hat. Okay. So this was fun. I really liked it. I do think that this from the get-go, like it felt very B2B, and I think that's what I like about mega crews is that it's like a big numbered version of the vibe that we love about each of these crews. Yeah, and this was fun. Okay, looking here how they're starting. That was nice. Just a note here, the camera going from them to the aerial shot really helps with that imagery that we got. If the camera stayed flat, let's say they didn't have control and the camera stayed flat and they just turned around, you would completely miss all of what we just saw. But they're very fortunate that the camera worked in their favor there, where they got up to the aerial shot and they're partying together. I think it's a really fun start. 2, 3, boom, boom, 1, 2, 3. Rock and bounce is great. I love the establishment of that. My big note for this is in hip hop. I mean, I love this. He does that brilliantly. But 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what ends up happening is that we're seeing a lot more of the movement happen. Like, it's a rock and bounce, of course, but it doesn't mean it has to be established simplistically. 1, 2, 3, and hey, it shouldn't always have to be that party, like that party rockin'. You can play around with the other aspects of your track and dive into different pockets, like the 1s and the 3s, the 2s and the 4s, the, 1E and a 2s, like you can really dive into that. I feel like they don't really get into that aspect of their content until about halfway through. And I feel like because they understand and they're fluent in the rock and the bounce, they have every right to just go for it. I feel like this is a great opportunity. Let's really beef this up and showcase who we are, but also I know that they're operating at a disadvantage because they're not really choreographers. They're more of in the battle underground scene, to my knowledge, but I really like how they chose to do this. But I do feel that their content in this beginning section is riding more on the simpler side. I do like the formation. It's great and it's clean. And it's really hard when you do a rock and a bounce for it to be clean, but because the content is more on the simpler side, because they keep approaching those rocks and those bounces similarly throughout the entire thing, it doesn't quite look as creative or as complex. I like where they threw it on the clap, boom, and then he's going at 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4, 5, boom. This was really fun. I like that as they switch to face the sides. Really enjoyable. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now they're really doing old school party moves. I love it. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. Do I think that those moves done in unison helped them? I don't. I feel that maybe they have your small groups and then you have people in the back join up. There's my basket run that took place. Do you see this rando that's just running through? Yeah, and they're running over to the side. So it can promote a messier transition when not everybody's on the same page. We have one dude that's just walking, but I know he's our featured dancer. If anything, it would have been cool to create a transition that made it to where he seamlessly joined in and, oh, we have this feature that we didn't know we had. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. So he goes over. I like this with the lights and they're kind of bleeding down. This dude is phenomenal. So they're doing something very simple to frame him. That was, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. Probably one of my favorite. I mean, this is what, number 3 that I'm watching on the Mega Cruise at this point. Astronomically I love what he did there. That was so captivating. But just know they're just riding that basic 2, 3, 4, in their transitions. I like their transitions and choices. They really could have taken advantage of the opportunities to really travel in a different way. I think they're doing an MC Rock, it looks like. MC Rock, boom, and MC Rock, you just face the back. Same thing. So they're doing things ambidextrously on both sides. This feels like a beginner drill class. And I think that could have cost them some points because with a mega crew, I think that's totally fine. There's a time and place for it, but I think in the context of the show, they are the caliber of expectation they expect from you, from beginner, intermediate to advanced level comprehension of the technique. I think they have a pretty advanced understanding of these techniques. I don't think that they have a advanced understanding of utilizing the toolkit of the choreographic side that you can with this while maintaining the essence. So that's why it feels more intermediate, elementary in execution. But they make it look easy. Not a ton of people can execute this hip hop rock and bounce authentically. I think a lot of them are doing a great job. But the downside, though, is that they are transitioning, doing a slight accent, and then going to another formation. So I feel like overall, it's not complex. They're not bringing any complexity to the table to help me appreciate the simplicity of their groove sometimes. And that's the overall note that I think I'm noticing with this crew in particular. I like them here. I want you to take a look here of how they're interpreting this track right here. I know that they're probably invited hidden figures, right? Now there, let me say this. It looks like they kind of had their own moment. They got a vibe, do what they want to do. They go to the front, vibe out. He's supposed to kind of push him. He was influenced in that way. They switch around. Yes. Da-da-da. This right here, do you see? Like, this is really beefed up. Da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da. You know, of course, the track has changed, or it's elevated. Not changed, it's the same track. It's just a da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. You know? This, do you see? You just see how much more dense and how much more impactful this section feels. But take a look at how long we're in. It's 1:46. It's at least 1:30 of this that we've already seen. And this is the first intermediate to advanced polyrhythmic comprehension of their style that we're seeing. And this is the kind of thing that we needed to see a little bit more. This right here, this whole section I think is my favorite section from them, because I really like how they're choosing the frame. It's still very clean. I like the fact that they have different outfits. I don't know if they all had to discuss on like, this is a costume I'm picking, this is one I'm picking, but I know that they weren't allowed to duplicate. I know that. So there's, I'm getting pieces of this, and I know you guys always do a fabulous job of providing more context as I post these. This was cool. Oh, that was so cool. That makes me want to... I forget about certain moves sometimes. And I don't think... It's just been a hot minute since I've seen people vary that, and I really love their choice of that. Very clean, and this was my note before. Set it up. Wow! That was so cool. That was so cool. And then they're vibing off. You're setting it up. 2. Now you notice though that this whole little setup here, we just had to kind of wait for them to get ready. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I had, you know, 10 counts of just watching people walk around and set up. You know, so it really this felt pretty disconnected from everything else we set up, that it could have been. Not talking about the track was fine. I like the track. I think that the transition of the mashup was fine. The transition of the sections of choreo that we just saw into the new section, it felt like we were waiting for this section to start versus, oh, this section has started and it seamlessly transitioned over. I think that's what I mean by there's a disconnect. There's a bit of, there's a lag. I would call it more that. A lag between the from section 2 to section 3, which I know they have different directors, so I don't know if this is now a different director we are watching. I know there's a gray bar down here. I haven't really been watching that as much. I don't know if it's based on the track that we're hearing, or like if they had to have use certain songs, you know, things like that. But I do like the mashups, which is really fun. 2, 3, 4. You know what? Okay, so somebody told me that they were not allowed to pick their music for Mega Cruise, but they were allowed to pick their music for Muse of Street Man Fighter. Now, I haven't reacted to that yet, but I did research on the criteria for that one because that is different than this. And so I've been really, guys, I've really been trying to make sure that I'm on the same page on what I'm actually looking at and not overly projecting criteria that doesn't exist. That's my big thing too, and I keep growing in these processes as well, because this is not a competition like a regular competition. This is like a TV competition where there's the virality of your track matter, like is part of your score, you know. It's and a lot of competitions, it doesn't matter how popular you are, it's do you meet the criteria, and that's not the case here, right? So or the criteria here is different. Here, I mean, their formation, like just hearing this track, I just feel like how they're executing it just feels a little bit subpar than a lot of the more old school sounds that we've been hearing. And I don't know if that was a choice they made or if it was a track they had to use. I don't know. 2, 3, 4, you know. And I know, were they able to choose their costume too? Like, I like their costume, it matches them very well. But this whole ending sequence does feel a little bit more underwhelming. Yeah, so I mean, the ending just felt very anticlimactic in comparison to to a typical ending of a mega crew. Like, you want to know, wow, like I want to know when to start clapping. You know, it's like, wow, that's a finish, you know, and it doesn't have to be this loud sound, or, you know, it's part of it comes from how you finish. And I do like the fact that they made the letter M here. That looks super cool. It's definitely cool. I mean, but just going back to how they're getting into their last spot is just a walking transition. It wasn't an odd, like, they didn't get into it with me realizing, oh, this is the finish. It was okay, they're walking to their final spot. And that's what I mean by the anticlimactic approach. So I think a lot of it, though, however, does stem from the fact that they do not have as much experience with this type of the realm of the dance world, which is this type of skill set, which is very different than freestyles. So I understand probably why they were placed where they were. I would put this one, I mean, I'm just going to put them in order until one feels obviously out of place. I don't quite know, but I can understand the lineup at this point in time. Thank you guys so much for watching. What a rodeo, man. Am I right? I think this is just fabulous. I loved all of the crews. It's wonderful that I had the opportunity to take a look at all of them, and I definitely look forward to the discussions on all of them too. Please note that I absolutely love watching dances, and I love being able to provide feedback or ways that every crew, I think, could have enhanced or done their stuff better. But I don't want anything that I say to discredit the fact that the turnaround time, the number of people they had to work with, the mental state that they were in with the pressure of the competition, and just the workload that comes with these types of things is second to none. And I have so much respect for them, and I cannot be any more proud to be in this position, to just be able to just share joy of what I love about these types of things. And I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the other challenges with these groups. It's gonna be awesome. I will catch you on the flip side. Bye, guys.